Imagine waking up one morning to a world that looks exactly the same. The sky is still blue. The oceans still breathe. The ground beneath your feet feels solid and familiar. Yet at the atomic level, Earth has already begun to die. Far beyond the reach of human senses, a catastrophe unfolds not in fire or sound, but in physics itself. A disaster born in the collision of dead stars. A moment when the universe decides to rewrite matter. This is not a story of explosions or extinction by impact. This is the story of a planet slowly turning into gold. And by the time anyone realizes what is happening, it is already too late. There was a day when the Earth did not burn, did not freeze, and did not shatter apart. Instead, it changed in silence. No alarms rang across the planet. No explosions tore through the skies. Yet in a single cosmic moment, the very meaning of matter was rewritten. This is the story of a universe-scale disaster. A story where physics itself becomes the destroyer, and where our world does not end in fire, but in gold. To understand how Earth could ever turn to gold, we must begin far beyond our planet, far beyond the sun, in the violent hearts of dying stars. Gold is not born gently. Unlike carbon or oxygen, gold cannot form inside ordinary stars. It requires energies so extreme that atoms are forced together faster than they can decay. These conditions exist only during the most catastrophic events in the universe. Neutron-star collisions. Supernovae of immense power. Moments when matter is compressed beyond imagination. When two neutron stars collide, they release more energy in seconds than the sun will produce in its entire lifetime. In that instant, space floods with free neutrons. Atomic nuclei are bombarded relentlessly, growing heavier and heavier. Iron becomes silver. Silver becomes gold. Gold becomes even heavier elements that barely exist. These explosions scatter precious metals across the cosmos. Every ring, every circuit, every trace of gold on Earth was forged in such a stellar death billions of years ago. But what if such a death happened not billions of years away, but dangerously close? Imagine a neutron-star merger occurring within our cosmic neighborhood. Not close enough to rip Earth apart instantly, but close enough to bathe the solar system in a storm of exotic radiation and matter. Among the debris would be a flood of ultra-high energy neutrons and gamma rays. A cosmic wave capable of altering atomic structures at a fundamental level. Earth would not feel it as an impact. The planet would feel it as a transformation. At first, nothing would seem different. The sky would look normal. The oceans would remain blue. Mountains would stand unchanged. But deep inside matter itself, a quiet disaster would begin. Atoms rely on balance. Protons define an element. Neutrons stabilize it. Under normal conditions, atoms are remarkably resilient. But in a neutron-saturated environment, nuclei can absorb neutrons faster than nature can correct them. Iron atoms inside Earth would begin to change. Nickel would follow. Even lighter elements would destabilize. One by one, atomic identities would blur. As neutrons flood into nuclei, radioactive decay would follow. Beta decay would convert neutrons into protons. Each conversion would increase the atomic number. Matter would climb the periodic table. Stone would no longer remain stone. Metal would no longer remain metal. Deep within Earth's crust and mantle, elements would slowly transmute. Iron-rich regions would creep toward heavier states. Copper veins would destabilize. Lead would become something else entirely. And eventually, in pockets where conditions aligned perfectly, gold would form. Not veins of gold as we know them, but contaminated matter where atomic identities are scrambled, unstable, and deadly. The planet would not turn gold overnight. It would turn radioactive first. Radiation levels would rise silently. Life would begin to fail before anyone understood why. Plants would stop growing. Oceans would lose their delicate chemistry. DNA would fracture under relentless particle bombardment. The biosphere would collapse from the inside out. And as radioactive decay continued, heat would build. Not from magma, from atoms themselves. Entire regions of Earth's crust would warm unnaturally. The planet would glow faintly in infrared, visible to distant telescopes, as something deeply wrong. As centuries passed, decay chains would stabilize. The radioactive chaos would slowly settle. And what remained would be unrecognizable. Earth's crust would now contain unprecedented concentrations of heavy elements. Gold dispersed through rock, like poison through blood. But this gold would not be valuable. It would be cursed. Gold formed through rapid neutron capture often carries unstable isotopes. Many would decay further, emitting radiation for thousands of years. Civilization would never reach this stage. Humanity would not survive the first centuries. Cities would fall not to earthquakes or storms, but to invisible atomic betrayal. Water supplies would become lethal. Air would carry silent death. Even underground shelters would fail. The planet would become a mausoleum of heavy metals. From space, Earth would look deceptively calm. Clouds would still swirl. Continents would still rotate beneath the sun. But the chemistry of life would be gone. This is what makes this catastrophe terrifying. It is not destruction by force. It is destruction by transformation. A planet does not need to explode to die. Now consider the final stage. Over millions of years, erosion would expose these altered materials. Rivers would carry golden dust into dead oceans. Mountains would weather into glittering sediments. Earth would truly become a golden world, not shining like treasure, but dull, toxic, and lifeless. A planetary graveyard rich beyond imagination and worth nothing at all. And somewhere in the galaxy, future civilizations might detect it. They would see abnormal elemental signatures. Too much gold. Too much heavy matter. They would know something catastrophic happened here. Not a war. Not an impact. But a cosmic accident. A reminder written in atoms. This scenario may sound like science fiction, but the physics behind it is real. We know neutron-star mergers happen. We know they create gold. We know radiation can alter atomic nuclei. What saves Earth is distance and rarity. The universe is vast. These events are uncommon near habitable worlds. But the cosmos does not care about life. It does not plan. It does not warn. It simply follows physics. Earth's true shield is not technology or strength. It is time and luck. Luck that no stellar death has occurred close enough to rewrite our atoms. Luck that our gold remains locked in ancient rocks, not raining from the sky. When we look at gold today, we see wealth, history, power. But gold is also a reminder of violence on a cosmic scale. It is proof that beauty often comes from destruction, and that the universe can turn even a living world into metal dust without ever touching it. The day Earth turns to gold would not be loud. It would not be cinematic in the way disasters are imagined. It would be quiet, slow, unforgiving. A catastrophe written not in fire, but in the periodic table. And the universe would move on, indifferent as always.